Alright, well, welcome back everybody. Here we are. Well, here is our cribbage table. This is the exact table that we just ran up in the shop and dropped the whitetail on. There's nothing in the center because what we're looking to do here is we're looking to highlight on those three knot holes, which were the damage, in fact, in that one piece of white pine. Because if you recall in the video, on the outsides I ended up using a couple pieces of scrap Douglas fir. Alright, how did I come up with all this? Let's go to our job setup to start with. First thing I did was I entered my exact material measurements as I had them on my table. We had them 36 inches wide, 27 inches high. Material thickness is 1.5. My datum position is I always start from the middle. That's just how I like to do it. Unit of measurements in the United States is inches. We click OK. Alright, now we see a bunch of engravings around us. First thing we're going to mention real quick are these boxes. Now I told you, I took in the video and I went from the left hand side of the material, I measured over and I measured up, and I wrote that measurement down. Well, just for the sake of this example, this measurement, one of the first measurements that I got here was 12.875 from the far left edge over, left to right, working left to right. I'm 12 7/8 over, approximately to the center of that hole, and I'm 16 inches up from the bottom. All right. Once I have that in, and I tuck it in the corner, because I'm working off my left side, we knew that the repairs for those knot holes were 1 inch. That's what we did. We went in, we created a 1 inch circle. I found the center of my circle and put it right on the corner of where my X and Y kind of marks the spot for where the knot hole is. Alright, let's close this out. So we got our 3 holes in our board. Let's highlight these three rectangles and let's delete them. These are our holes. Now, what I would normally do, and we can see all the different engravings around us, so let's start pulling some of these in, okay? Now that we've got our measurements for where our holes are, we can highlight Mr. Bear. Let's highlight Mr. Bear real quick. Alright, I am going to, and I did that, ladies and gentlemen, by simply going to Edit Objects, Selection Mode, hold down my left mouse key, we highlight the bear, I click on him again, all my nodes are lit up. I come down to Transform Objects, Align Selected Objects, and I align him dead center. Now, let's close this out. Let's zoom in again and take a close look. Now, the bear would have worked out fine, except for the milling time on him is pretty extensive. He's probably another hour or so beyond the whitetail. So, again, this is a donation piece. I absolutely enjoy helping my young adults out in my own hometown in any way I can. At the same time, though, I've got to keep it within reasonable limits. So, we didn't opt for the bear, but we can see here that these 2 knot holes, once the repairs were done, they would have covered up pretty well. And just like the whitetail, I still would have had this one on the outer side of this bear's back leg. So, okay, he's not completely out of the question. Let's knock him out. Let's do the same thing again. We make sure we're in Edit Objects, left click on Selection Mode, holding down our left mouse key. Let's highlight Mr. Raccoon. He's a pretty sharp looking chubby little mammal there. So let's take him, let's align him, and let's align him dead center as well. We'll close this. Now, looking at the raccoon, I can tell you that he was a big engrave, time-wise. But I did like the idea of having the effect of the log or something. It just added a little bit more to the piece. Now, when we zoom in on Mr. Raccoon, we can see Mr. Raccoon all lit up. This hole would have covered flawlessly, as would have this repair. We're still left with this one out here, though. Not a major big deal because there were other knots around the piece, but this is basically what I do when I look at material that either has damage, maybe not as extensive as this piece we just did, or more likely what I do this for is to take a look and see if I have a specific effect, say like the spalting that I would have in a big headboard. I could lay that out, I could kind of measure some of the area where the spalting was, and I could superimpose it up on my job, and I could get an idea if maybe I was doing animals or I was doing a big scene. I could kind of get a better idea of where things are going to fall. Now, in the case of the holes, I'm sorry, these landed pretty much dead on. So, and when you unhighlight them, even zooming in, you still have a bit of a hard time seeing the circles. These two would have covered no problem. All right, let's get the raccoon out. We're just going to go up to undo. We're going to come back in, edit objects, left click selection mode. We're going to hold down our left mouse key. We're going to highlight Mr. Whitetail. He's lit up nice. We can highlight him again. We see all our nodes. Let's come down to transform objects one last time. We're going to align to material dead center. Now, this was the most reasonable runtime out of all of them. The damage on the white pine from the knot holes going all the way through the material covered very nicely, with the exception of this one over here. However, again, it's a donated piece, so we did do everything in our power, and I think that the piece in and of itself came out very nice. But this is how I would do it: lay out my job size, lay out whatever I'm doing, oval, rectangular, round, enter it dimensionally in here, do your setup like you would any other build, and then drag in all your little indiscrepancies. Like I said, you can take and let's pull the deer back out. Just by merely getting your measurement from one corner, maybe you work right to left, I work left to right, but get your measurement over and your measurement up, X marks the spot, write those coordinates down if you would, and bring those measurements, put them in, drop your damage or whatever effect it is you have, pull your engraving in, and then you get a better idea of what you're looking at least in my opinion anyways. And this is something that I do from time to time when I'm working with pieces or I'm working with material and materials that have, you know, crazy effects in them, okay? Well, I hope this helped you as always. I cannot thank all of you enough for your support, my subscribers, my followers, every one of you, ladies and gentlemen. You rock. I appreciate you so much, and I hope to keep this coming for you. Now, stay tuned this weekend for our Sunday evening blog. We are hoping to get out and get all our table legs and what have you. I've got a few more of these. I think I'm gonna bang out before Christmas and the holidays. Last weekend's weather didn't permit for us to go out. It was raining, and I just didn't want to deal with that. But I felt I at least owed you guys an explanation. Okay, so please, again, have a nice, safe week. Get home safely to you and yours this week. And again, we'll catch you Wednesday for the midweek shout-out. We'll see you Sunday for the Sunday evening blog. All right, everyone. Take care, and bye-bye.